We're live. We're live. We're here. We're live. We're happening. It's real. Um, hello Zeta and Diablos bros. I think I told folks I wasn't streaming today, but I actually genuinely can't remember if I told y'all we weren't streaming or not. I knew I wasn't uploading a video, but I could not remember if I was streaming today or not. So I don't know if this is actually a surprise that I'm streaming or if it's just like the normal thing that I was supposed to be doing. But here I am. Hi, Sanic and hi, Tarian. I don't know what we're doing today. I didn't plan anything. So I have some things I'm going to put out there for folks. We have a lot of new Buddy content. If we want to go back to the It's Buddy channel, there's a lot of stuff there we could talk about and watch together if folks are interested in that. Um, you know, we could also, I've got plenty of games to play if I can open up Steam. What? Did I say devil? What? Responding to Zeta. Zeta just said hi, Diablo. Anyway. Surprisingness is real. Great ape. Okay. Okay, I have Steam open now. Hi, Daniel. Hi, Darkvic. Welcome in. What other games do I have? A Pleasant Betrayal. Hi, Evan. There is a new duck sorting game that I could buy and we could just sort ducks. We could just be sorting ducks. Anyway, we've got options. You screenshotted it. You have proof. Hey, I'm with you. I was just confused. I was just confused. Okay. Just be careful. If you have the auto translate on, if there's like a little, what do you call it? If there's like a little like translate icon next to someone's message, it's auto translating it. And sometimes it auto translates things that are already in English because it's a little goofy. So just be aware of that because that's gotten me a couple of times. What's my favorite Snartles FNAF cover so far? That's a great question. One that I do have an answer to. Let me pull them up. Covers FNAF. Because I think my favorite redo, like improvement, my favorite redo that I would consider an improvement is honestly Lally's game. Lally's game is the most upgraded to me. However, if I'm purely going on just, wow, that's just a really gorgeous cover, I would have to go with Somnophobia. I think that's like that's like a poster I would have on my wall. Like out of all of them, you could just like pull the artwork from Somnophobia and I would want that artwork on my wall. Like I don't want Lally's game on my wall. I don't like Nexie's though. I think I'm alone in that. I think other people are really loving Nexie, the Nexie redo. Not the biggest fan. Hi, Azel Productions. Hi, Scared. Hi, Nick. Welcome in. What new FNAF games are you excited for the most? Aren't there only two that are announced? What are we talking about? What else is there besides FNAF World 2 and Security Breach 2? Did I miss something? I've been barely paying attention, I gotta be honest. It is the composition. Thank you, Crash. That is exactly how I feel. I do get it, but yeah, the composition's a little weird. Like Nexi isn't enough of a focus in it, in my opinion. FNAF is coming to Fortnite. I did see that. But yeah, honestly, like all of the improvements are exactly that. They are improvements. I love the Haps one. He looks like actually genuinely scary. Anyway. The submechanophobia one, I really liked the mermaid one, but I liked the diver one that came out first. And I kind of wish the remake for submechanophobia was back to focusing on the diver. Though I do understand focusing on the serpent cuz I think the serpent is the one that had the shoe in its mouth. So, the Bobby Dots one is gorgeous. It's really close between Somnophobia and Bobby Dots for me. But the reason I would say I like the Somnophobia one better is because I really liked the original. I didn't mind the original Bobby Dots one, is I guess what I'm trying to say. Theory is Security Breach 2 will take place after Ruin. The Vanessa ending breaking free to me is canon. And I think there's the plot twist on Cassie being Vanny now. I think aging up Cassie would be weird. I just kind of like her as a kid character. I don't really need to see her grown up. We really only got the one game with her as a kid, so like growing her up immediately kind of seems crazy. But it's not like they haven't grown up kids to make them adults for future installments before. Michael, great example. So it's not out of the question. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and I'd probably just get on board with whatever they end up doing anyway, because what's the point in complaining? FNAF World 2 will have lore answers to mysteries from the old era. Horror games, I'm of two minds. I think there's probably a 65% chance FNAF World 2 is not going to be canon. And then there's like, to me, a 45% chance it fixes the stuff that Scott regretted about regular FNAF World and gives it a firm place in the canon. I think we'll play as Cat. Do we just want to yap about FNAF? Is that what we want? Do you guys just want to theorize about Five Nights at Freddy's today? Is that what we want to do? I just want to change the title and description of the thumbnail to match what we're doing. So is that what we want to do? No, I mean, sure, it's up to me. I know at the end of the day, it's up to me. I'll put how about a poll? How do we feel about a poll? Is a poll good? I just want to make sure we figure out what we're doing. What are we doing this stream? Okay, my options were play a game. We'll pick a game, okay? FNAF Theorizing or watch Theorize about Buddy movie. Because the Buddy movie's coming out next week. So we'll do that. Yapping's fine, gaming's fine. I'm working with this in the background. Awesome. Fair enough. Y'all just do some y'all just poll it up. Just poll it up. And once we have a clear winner, I'll change the name of the stream. Because the original, like, I feel like the Somnophobia one is the biggest upgrade because the original Somnophobia is just Moon with the hypnotizing eyes. And the upgrade really kind of shows that, like, hypnotic device kind of vibe that they're going for. And the lighting is just gorgeous. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just like really, really pretty. Buddy movie sounds fun. You're up for anything? Fair enough, fair enough. We'll just see what wins the poll. We got 12 votes. FNAF Theorizing is winning so far. I just want to make sure that the name of the stream is accurate because right now it's just a surprise I'm streaming. So if folks who like want to theorize about FNAF want to pop in, they'll know that that's what we're doing. All right. How many people are watching? Cat Cameo. Yep, Cat Toast is right here. Hey, Toast, you want to say hi, folks? You want to say hi, baby? Hey, come here. She's like right there. In Security Breach, when the move leaves the daycare, we see that glittery aura around our screen, right? Yes, I think so. I believe. If I know what you're talking about, yeah. Maybe one day we just need to get up in Security Breach and just yap while I play it. I'm just not very good at it. Not that I'm, like, bad at it. It's just, like, I'm not fast. Like, other people know where everything is, and they're so fast. 16 votes, 44% at FNAF Theorizing. I'm going to give y'all until it says 3 minutes ago. So if you haven't voted and you want to vote, get on in here. And if you don't care, that's fine too. I'm just happy to have you here. I know, scared. I know. I need to, but I have a plan for FNAF Theory Bingo. So maybe next week on that one. I think next week would be the best for FNAF Theory Bingo. That way I have time to advertise it. Because I don't like just like, I don't want to just pop up with FNAF Theory Bingo. I want to advertise it. And I already know what I want to watch because I already talked to the creator about it and was like, we're watching this. We're watching these theories. So we've got a couple of theories to watch on FNAF Theory Bingo. But I do understand. And I considered it today, but I didn't have time to advertise it, so. Hi, Jenny. All right, 24 votes. It looks like FNAF Theorizing has won. Somewhat predictably, but I would not be surprised if the buddy people came out in droves. Love you, baby. She wants pets so bad. Do you see her? She's being so baggy. She being so baggy. All right. All right. Theorizing about the next about the future of FNAF. How's that? So much new FNAF news. Let the yapping commence. Okay. FNAF theory. Five Nights at Freddy's. Manny. She gets her own. Save. How's that? Okay. Aw, hi Jenny. Okay, let me get comfy real quick. And let me get Toast in my lap so she can get some pets, okay? Okay. I'm in my PJ pants. We're not going to talk about it. I don't have to put pants on for you guys. Not that I would actually be mad at any of you for pointing out that I'm wearing pajamas. Okay, let me get this further back. And let me settle. Let me settle back here. Also, if this horizontal stripe pattern, I was going for a puppet vibe, but I feel like it might be really awful on screen. So if it's bothering y'all, I'll go get like a jacket or something. All right. Did you want in my lap, baby? You want to come down here? More comfy. It's more comfy down here. Yeah. How's that? Okay. So we'll start with FNAF World 2 because I talked so much about Vanny in my recent video. So nice, scared, nice, scared. Did you put it in stream suggestions? on the Discord. Stream submissions, pardon. I see it. Unless it is that it? Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll get to it. It's yapping time. Okay, let me scoot forward a little bit. That's fun. Okay. So, like the camera being that far over. Okay. Feel a little too off center. So, let's start with FNAF World 2. What do we think? Is it gonna, do you guys think, okay. Let me set the scene. What I said in my video was that I'm not convinced that FNAF World 2 is going to be canon because it's being made by Mega Cat Studios rather than Steel Wool. And that being said, there's nothing preventing a canon game being made by somebody other than Steel Wool. So it's more about the fact that Into the Pit was Mega Cat Studios' contribution so far to the franchise. And I have argued that it's not, like, Into the Pit is not a canon game. It is full of references and things like that, but I'm not convinced that that's canon. Couple of reasons. One is that the Stitch Wraith is in that game. I think that would be weird if that were canon and we just have never seen it. I think there is a world where you could introduce a Stitch Wraith era for the Mimic. I think you could do that. You just rewrite it to where it's not Andrew and Jake. Okay, go on, Toast. Sorry, she was about to jump in a way that was not comfortable for me. I think you could introduce a world where there is a Stitch Wraith in the timeline that's not Andrew and Jake. And that you could make it make sense, you know, with everything that we know so far. Anyway, I think that, but like, anyway, that's one of my reasons why I'm not confident that Into the Pit is canon. Another is just the entire concept of Pit Trap, especially his design in that game is just not, it's very different in my opinion to like what we've seen with any iteration. So that would just be purely, in my opinion, an agony manifestation. Oh my gosh. Zeke! You're okay, buddy. Zeke! Hold on, sorry, my dog is barking. Zeke, stop. Go couch. Sit. Chill out, buddy. You're okay. No, sir. You're okay. Zeke, you are okay, baby. Oh my god. This is great. I love this. Okay, I think he's done now. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's one reason. The whole pit trap thing is just another thing, but whatever. And then I would say the big thing, or one of the big things, some of the mini games I would say are also things, because there's mini games that allude to fetch, there's mini games that allude to count the ways, that would just start to canonize all of these fright stories that feel like, I don't know, it just feels weird to just suddenly decide that those are all canon. When people, I don't know how to explain it. It's complicated for me, but also the fact that GGY is present in the ball pit pizzeria feels silly to me. I don't really understand why that would be the case, honestly, because he would not have even existed in the time period that of the 80s, right? Like, he doesn't exist until the pizzeria and is in that time. I don't know how else to explain that. Like, it feels weird to me. Zeke would bark to differ. That's funny, Evan. FNAF World 2 is probably going to be like the books, where the books aren't canon, but they can use evidence to back up theories. Yeah. Maybe. Love letter to FNAF rather than a canon game. That's kind of how I feel, but especially because it was a part of the 10-year anniversary. It feels like It's full of references from all across the canon, or all across the different timelines, all across the different canons, and it just, like, also is its own fright story. I don't think it needs to be canon, you know? GGY is just an easy reference to Tales in my opinion. I would agree. Zeke! No. Settle. He has anxiety, I understand it. Um, there's people outside talking and laughing outside the door, so that's why he's, like, freaking out, but he needs to let them be. They can do their thing, we can do our thing, everything's fine. Half-baked theory that some of the books are actually the Mimic's AI hallucinations to make sense of the weirdness. I've seen things like that before. I have seen things like that before where people kind of talk about how potentially the storyteller elements of all of this is what is writing the Tales books. And I kind of vibe with it in a way. I kind of vibe with it. Um what do you think about that Charlie in the games is actually called Cassidy? I am not against it. We haven't ever heard the name Charlie in the games. You know, there's, in my opinion, there's not a reason that she can't be Cassidy. I think if one of two people are Cassidy that's not Vengeful Spirit, I think it's probably Crying Child, but that's just me. Buddy is a good unicorn. He definitely doesn't kidnap kids. I agree, Scooter. We love Buddy. But yeah, so, oh yeah, those are my big things that prevent me from just settling on the idea of Into the Pit being canon. And the fact that Into the Pit has such questionable canonicity brings me to the idea that perhaps FNAF World 2 is going to be much the same. And then what we're really looking at for FNAF World is maybe just what Scott hoped the game could have been. And I want to make something very clear too. Scott said he regretted trying to fit FNAF World into the canon. So I think that's fodder for the idea that FNAF World 2 would be its own thing, because Scott would then have the ability to explore all of the stuff that he wants to explore with FNAF World 2 to improve it without worrying about it fitting into an existing timeline. So, Into the Pit is so much fun, honestly. I would agree. I would agree. Since it's Meow Wolf, that's where my head is at. However, I am open to having a conversation on, but what if it is? You know what I mean? I'm open to discussing what are the likelihoods of a story, what is the possibility, like, of what would be explored in a FNAF World 2 were it to be canon. And I think it would be cool. Sorry, I was checking on him. I think in a world where FNAF World 2 is canon, it would be neat if FNAF World 2 was the other side of things being infected with the Mimic virus. Or Glitch Trap virus, however you want to call it. And you could even have, like, Vanny as a character there. Tape Girl could come back and have their moments in this sort of, like, on the flip side of everything that's happening during, like, Help Wanted 2, Security Breach, Ruin, you know? What puzzle or lingering thing do we need to solve to unlock the Cawthon confirms canonicity achievement? Alethwa? Sorry, I'm totally, like, probably mispronouncing your name. I apologize very much. But what's canon? Like, as far as if FNAF World 2 is gonna be canon, as far as was into the pit canon, like which one? Fallen is fine. Okay, we'll do that. I fear these future games are gonna be slop. Butte, I really hope not. Oh my gosh, Scooter. We just want to see more queer love in FNAF. Is that so hard? Yeah, FNAF World 1 is canon, but he regrets it. I get why, because he said there's so much more he could have done, and he wasn't in a good mindset to be making it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think that comes across in the game. So I think it would be fine if it wasn't, but in a world where it was, I think it would be really cool if it was connected to Security Breach too. Like if those two games kind of led into each other in some way. Scott also hated the Mangle thing, which I remember fans being sus about that. Interesting. I didn't hate that. I wasn't really mad about that. Wish he would confirm which games books are canon, semi-canon, or just adjacent. I would agree with you, Fallen. I would agree. I would really like... Well, and this is the other thing. And I proposed this in my video, where I think if they want to do that, but they don't want to outright just come out and say it, I think adding a second security logbook from the perspective of Vanessa would be a great way to clear up all of those things, because there could be visuals in the security in a new security logbook that would either point or not point to the revenant or whatever. I don't even know if that's what he's called. What is that? Oh, reagent, the revenant. What am I saying? That it could show a picture of the reagent, and then it would go, oh look, Escape the Pizzaplex is canon because it's in this book that is a canon book. Or Haps, right? If Haps was in there, then we could go, oh look, Haps is a canon thing that happened in this world, you know? If Vanessa drew a picture of Ballora, that would point to something, you know what I mean? And or none of that, right? We could get a clear timeline for when the Pizzaplex opened in relation to the events of Help Wanted, right? And that could help us understand, like, what we're looking for here, you know? Like, that could give us some indication of, do we even need to be looking at the Tales books anymore? Like, was the idea that the Tales books were going to be canon, and then we pivoted because we messed everything up in Security Breach? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no tally marks, scared. No tally marks. But you could do puzzles in there. I think it would be totally fair to include a bunch of puzzles in there, and it only among solving them do we really get an idea of what is and isn't canon in that stuff. Seeker, I think 14 theory uses the tally marks. Am I wrong? But there's no, like, we don't have a solid answer on it. People used, wait, did Hyperdroid use the tally marks to come up with Dave for the Foxy grid? I'll say it, I don't want Security Breach 2 to be a prequel. As much as we want answers for what happened before, I do not want to wait for another 2 years to continue the story they set up in Ruin. I agree, Ginny. I agree. I said as much in my video. I want Security Breach 2 to just be moving forward. If FNAF World 2 is also canon, I think it would make a lot of sense if the Glitch Trap virus was a big part of it, because I genuinely think if they have retroactively fit FNAF World 1 into the canon, I think it's related to the Mimic Heavy. Yeah, I don't want a huge time skip. I just want us to be where Cassie is in the elevator, or if she's in the elevator, or if she's in the scooping room. Like, I want the first thing we see in Security Breach 2 to either be Cassie in the scooping room, since that's where that ending leaves off, or her at the bottom of the elevator. If it's the Brazil ending, that's crazy. But, you know. Oh my God, Seeker. When we were talking about the tally marks earlier, were we talking about the security logbook tally marks, or were we talking about the insecurity breach tally marks? Because you're so right, we never freaking solved those. I made a theory about the tally marks, but I've come to believe that I'm probably wrong about it because it was under the I made that theory under the impression that VIP is canon, and I no longer know anything about anything. I just really want VIP to be canon. I think it would make a lot of sense. We're gonna have to free Cassie from the Bazil ending in FNAF World 2. Wait, scared? No, because I would actually be okay with that. You're probably memeing, but I would actually really love that. Do you think Gregory and Cassidy were the same age, 13 years old? Don't we learn their ages and escape the Pizzaplex? Am I crazy? No, we're just estimating. They're around the same age. Gregory's short for his age. I'm not really sure how Mimic 2 is going, or M2, sorry, is going to survive a game where Cassie, Vanessa, Gregory, Freddy, and possibly even Roxy / M1 try to stop it. Good point. The reason Star Orphans and Baby Plushies have the same color and details because they are new appearances of it. I do like the idea of giving the Star Orphans anything at all to do. Because I really like the Star Orphans. And I kind of feel like they didn't really get a moment beyond just being in that one little spot. Like, I guess in some really weird way, David's an orphan in the sense that both of his parents are dead, but so is he. And so his spirit is an orphan. So that's weird. I think Security Breach 2 is after Ruin. Daniel, I don't understand the 5 joke. I gotta be honest with you. I'm sorry. I wanna. Oh, true, Butte. That's true. Yo, okay, y'all. Like, so seriously, actually, I was having this thought the other day. Because I was like, just. I had made my whole video about Security Breach 2, and I was. Yeah. And, like, it was days later that I was like, wait, what the heck did the pool thing mean then? What was that about? And so that's the only thing that has started to make me think that maybe it would be a prequel because, like, that's not in the Security Breach. Or, sorry, that's not in the Pizzaplex in Security Breach. And neither is that glasses stand or that carpet. So, that's, like, one thing that would lean me in the direction of prequel. But that pool area is already so run down. I would think that either those attractions are things Cassie discovers under the Pizzaplex in Security Breach 2, maybe? Or whoever our protagonist is in that game. Or, and this would be weird, they're at a different location. Because we don't know how things work in the games world, but we do know that in Tales, there are multiple pizzaplexes. So the idea that they'd have different attractions at each one isn't out of the question. I would love to see more Roxy. I would love to see more Roxy. Scared. You said that. You said that. Midnight Motorist and Security Puppet are underground completely, and a water park is built on top. That's why it's raining. It's just a rundown pool. Sure. You know, at this point, it's like I just don't even like. I wouldn't even be surprised if I opened the game and it's Security Breach 2 Water Park Edition. Like, sure. Yeah. Why not? I would like the idea that maybe there's some tunnels connecting them to another location because that would be very sister location-esque. Aren't the plush babies in the tally mark room sitting in yes, 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 seeker, seeker, seeker. So in the tally mark room, there's a chair facing the wall, and then the plush babies are on the other side. There might be some sitting in the chair, I don't remember. But every time you look away, they laugh and disappear. So they don't stay in the room. They're only in there when you go in, and then they disappear. And you can't wear the Vanny mask in there. That's the creepy thing. So the plush babies, okay, so you know how Scott Cawthon was like, I just told them to add stuff in there and it would make sense later? And one of the things was that's what he wanted Burn Trap to be, right? He wanted Burn Trap to be something you saw out of the corner of your eye, but then you couldn't quite see it or whatever, and it would disappear. That is what the plush babies do in Ruin. I think it's same difference. You know what I mean? Plush babies are crazy. Plush babies are crazy. They're a whole thing. Weird there are tally marks near the bed in the security breach burn trap ending. Yes! They vanish IRL scared. Yes! Like they move? Or like they're hallucinations or something? Like they're agony things? They're not even real? The audio stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend that you use an audio stream bit rate. Am I out of sync or anything? Can y'all hear me okay? Am I buffering at all? YouTube is giving me a suggestion. Let me go to my stream health. Stream health doesn't seem to be having any issues. Audio is fine. Thank you. The star babies in Secret of the Mimic are strangely alive. Their eyes literally follow you if you walk around them. Yes. Okay, thank you, everybody. Yeah, scared. You were saying the same thing somebody else was saying earlier. Remind me who you are. But somebody else was talking about how, like, the plush babies and the star orphans seem connected. Playing as Vanessa in Security Breach 2 would be legitimately interesting. I think it would be so cool if we came back as Vanessa to save Cassie because Gregory was like, Vanessa, my friend is stuck in the pizza plex. You know what I mean? I think it would work. I'll get to you guys in a second. Okay. Her inner oh, that Fallen, that would be so cool. Oh my gosh, like she's still fighting some influence in her. I love that so much. Cause then Cassidy could be kind of corrupted in some way, but not be like the grown-up Vanny. I just think that would be odd. I think it would be odd to age up Cassie. If that's what they end up doing, like I said in my video, I said I can be wrong, I can be surprised, I can, like, my concerns can be quelled. I just don't I love Cassie as a protagonist. To age her up to make her a villain feels so, like, not the trajectory of her character. It's a tragic thing. Like, it can be, okay, yeah, this tragic thing happened to her, but I don't know, it's not my favorite, personally. Just me. Tallymark Room, low-key, has grounded child vibes. I agree. Which, if they're Elizabeth, would fit with Glitch Trap / F10, maybe seeing them as a rebellious kid. Do we know what year Help Wanted / Security Breach 1 take place? That is a point of contention. Chat, please correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the theory is that Security Breach either takes place in the 2020s or the 2030s, specifically like 2023 or 2033. Depending on when you think everything else happens. And depending on how much you trust what's written in Tales, honestly. Yeah, it's definitely 20-something. It's either 2030s and 2020s. Like, I don't think it's any further in the future than that, and I don't think it's any further back than that. Dump it? Yeah. Sorry. I probably should have done that a while ago. Yeah, clothed tiger, I have to agree. It would be underwhelming. Again, I've adapted to things I absolutely hate before. Looking at you, Mimic. But it doesn't make sense to me. Is the door to the plush baby room closed when Cassie encounters it? I don't know. Let's check. Somebody has a video of just the plush baby room and Security Breach. Ruin. Easter egg room. React. Let me get this smaller. Sorry, we were reacting to something in a different aspect ratio recently. So, that was the vibe then, but this is the vibe now. Okay. She puts the mask on. But the plush baby room, see, look, you can't enter it. Yeah, yeah. So the door is open, but it looks closed when you have the mask on, so check it. If you walk up to the door and you have the mask on, it's closed, and it doesn't look like you can go in. But if you take the mask off, then the door is magically open. And the plushies are in there. And then you go in, and there's the chair. Hold on. There's the chair and the tally marks. And the tally marks are not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the time. Some of them are just 1, 2s. I think it's all 2, 4s, and 5s. I think every tally mark texture is either a 2, a 4, or a 5. And then the plush babies are in here. You literally cannot put your mask on in this room. And then when you turn around, the little plush babies are gone. Yeah, see, look. 5, 4, 5, 5, 4, 2, 4, 5, 4. They're all 5, 4s, and 2s. Ain't that something? Does anybody want to watch 1 hour of silence occasionally interrupted by Pikmin? That's what it's suggesting for us. You think the tally marks are from Glamrock Bonnie? Like he was put in timeout? Like he was sitting in that chair? Butte. Let me find your other. Is that all you're saying? That's what I think Security Breach could be, exploring that location. Oh, one idea I had was that given Steel Wool. Okay, oh my god, I'm dumb. One idea I had was that given Steel Wool wanted to make a Fredbear game, there is still a Fredbear's that works. The one seen in the sister location office. 2 lights are on in the Fredbear's area, meaning they're active. And so maybe it's exploring that location. You think Fredbear's had a pool in it? Or you think that that's like something else? That feels like it's saying Cassie entering opens the door both in real life and the AR dimension, and then they prevent her to put it on again so it remains open and they can leave. Oh, like the plush babies are stuck in there and she freed them. Is that what you're saying? Rye Toast uploaded a Vanity Theory 5 hours ago. Cool. Love that. New Vanity design is absolutely deranged. Have to agree. No idea what the pool is. Me either. True, Meep. True. Yeah. I wonder if I can find easily, like, all the security breach tally marks. But, okay, so question, just so we stay a little on topic. Are we thinking the tally marks will be something that is carried over to the second security breach? Do we think that it's one of those it'll make sense later things? Or do we think we were already have meant to solve it and we failed? I don't want an AI overview. I'm so sick and tired. Okay, here they are in Bonnie Bowl. Oh, great. This is all 3 pictures. Hold on. Check it out. Okay, so this is what they look like in the the plush baby room. This is them in the plush baby room, and you can see again 4, 4, 5, 2, 4, 5, 4, 4, 2, 4, 5. I think this is a 2, 4, 2, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 5, 5, 4. Nothing else. Nothing else. Only that. And then if I scooch over. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do. That's not what I meant to do. Okay. There we go. This is the Bonnie Bowl ones. And same pattern. Only 5 4s and 2s here as well. And then last one. Once again. 5 4s and 2s. That's all they are. Ruben is so pretty, huh? So what the heck is that 5 4s and 2s, eh? Does it make a date? I mean, sure. April 25th. You know what I mean? Side beats me. What a real way to be about it. I think tally marks are like a refined I think the tally marks are like a Renfield type situation where someone is counting the days until burn drive has survived. I don't think counting works in a world where there's only 4s, 5s, and 2s, though. Bonnie Bowl had the Circus Baby staff bots. Hold on. I'm trying to go back up. Seeker of the Lost, thank you so much for saying you like the content. I appreciate that. Cassie's confirmed role of Saver to the animatronics in contrast to Gregory destroying them. Help on a 2 ending. Is Golden Princess Quest and helping Vanny? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to understand what you're asking, but I'm not 100% sure what you're asking. Sorry, I'm reading. I don't mind if Cassie aged up. Yeah, I was talking about that earlier, Daniel. I was talking about that earlier. Could be same numbers in different mediums like balloons or rubber duckies. Oh, you think that would be in Security Breach 2? Security Breach 2 is prelude for Golden Princess escaping and create UC in 2.0 worldwide. Okay. Fredbear's Water Park is giving real 1970s action park in New Jersey vibes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, shoot, I lost everything. Baby's ice cream shack is in Bonnie Bowl, like the staff bots that look like her. Yes, 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 per hydro. I agree. I concur or whatever. There's tally marks on the table with the staff bots. In here, are you talking about in the image we're looking at right now, or in a different image? Yeah, Bonnie Bowl is a big question mark, isn't it? Oh my god, I'm breaking. 245, it's same detail from survival logbook. Is that true? Is their survival logbook tally marks only 2 4s and 5s? I don't remember. I sincerely don't remember. Pure hydro, interesting. So you just think I don't know. I theorized about the idea that the tally marks are someone counting, and kind of got told that doesn't make any sense because it was only 2 4s and 5s. So I've just tried to look at it from different angles, but I guess it's not impossible. Oh my god, Meep, that's funny. Mystery with the wet floor bots and their connection to Glamrock Bonnie. True. If the tally marks are related to Baby, it could be trying to say that the tally marks in the logbook are supposed to indicate that Elizabeth was part of it too, alongside her siblings and Cassidy. Interesting. Then again, even if that's the case, doesn't explain what we're even supposed to do with them. So true. I don't think so. There's 4s, 5s, and 6s, if you recall. Okay, yeah, I didn't remember off the top of my head, honestly. Imagine, Blue Star, good call. M1 is connected to 4625. And that's 425. We've just got the 6. Hmm. Dang, it's a shame that none of those are 6s. That would feel relevant. I feel like the tally marks are somehow related to 4625, and we'll find out the meaning of that, plus the significance of the 6 not being in those groups of marks later. Spooncats? Possibly? Yeah. That, I mean, I would not be against that as a possibility. I think there was, like, at one point that I thought, like, maybe the Mimic had escaped in the past, and this was maybe where they were keeping it. I theorized that maybe this is where Gregory was kept for some period of time. And if the 4, 6s, and 5s are all connected to the Mimic, this could be, like, when, Gregory was under the influence of Glitch Trap. You know? It's just quite an interesting... I don't know, man. It's just so, like, you have to imagine there's significance to the 4s and the 5s and the 2s. Like, you have to imagine that they wouldn't do that on accident. Or, you know, they would do more than just those 3 numbers. But who am I? Putting Gregory in a timeout for failing a mission, possibly. I think I don't think it's a crazy thing to imagine this is like where Gregory had to go when he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Like, VIP, whether it is canon or not, that doesn't matter. But VIP does show a character who I would kin to Vanny. Like, it's not Vanny, but VIP does remind me of the Vanny from the teasers, right? And where, like, it's like, you have to play my games, and you better go play my games, and if you don't play my games, then bad things are gonna happen. And we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have so much fun. Like, Vanny in the teasers seems a lot like VIP in that VIP interactive novel, And VIP is like, I'm going to keep you in the Pizzaplex overnight because you didn't play my games with me. And Vanny, in Security Breach, we literally see hideouts where obviously kids stayed. And I know people have theorized that maybe the Mimic got out and stayed in those areas, but I just don't really vibe with that. I think by the time of Security Breach, he's pretty homicidal, unfortunately. So I just don't know that he's getting out and like hiding and pretending to eat pizza. Typing ASMR. Every once in a while I'm replying to a DM. Okay. I can multitask. Not really, but in this instance, I do just completely ignore you while I reply to the DM, but. And so it goes. In moon.exe, M2's room has flower drawing, the same flower drawing in FNAF 4's empty sister room with a broken mangle. Are we certain Elizabeth is a real child and not a robot? Angel, I don't know if it's possible that Elizabeth is a robot because of the way she dies in sister location. That's my thought process there. However, the notion that one of William Afton's children is a robot is not one that I am opposed to. I just don't think it's Elizabeth. If the Mimic got out, it would have been a massacre before people could even enter the building. I would agree, Kairos. I would agree. So that's why I'm like, I don't think the Mimic escaped and like got, I don't think that was like one of the things. I wonder if the tally marks were one of those things Steelwool was asked to include, but much like Afton wasn't quite included as intended due to communication issues. Alethwa, the Fallen, I think that that's not likely with the tally marks because that's Ruin and not Security Breach, and Ruin's whole thing was like pulling the story back together. So I don't think Scott would have made such a very specific, like extra, like that blunder the exact same way. But I can't really blame you for thinking that it would be one of those miscommunication things, since we know for a fact that Scott does not have the best communication skills. Wonder if there was a secret code that uses tally marks. I just don't know what it could be. I just truly don't know what it could be. Like, here's the thing. This one, let's be clear. This is fairly random. Like, I'm sure you could kind of put it in order. Like, you could kind of go top to bottom here, but it's a little hairy on like what line is which, like how does one line continue to the next? Like, are all of these a part of the same line, or are these a part of this line and this is its own? You know what I'm trying to say? It is a little hairy here how the lines go. On the other ones, though, this is like a very, like, this is in line. This feels like a code to me. You know what I mean? This feels like it could be solved. And by extension, this feels like a, oops, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. And by extension, this feels like a code that can be solved. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2. That feels like a code. That feels like it can be solved. But how? Does New Game have a name yet? No. All we have so far is just the fact that Vanny's mask has a 2 in the eye. I'm going to be honest, we don't even know if it's Security Breach 2. We're all just guessing because it's Vanny that it's Security Breach 2, because it can't be Help Wanted to. And Vanny's only in Security Breach other than Help Wanted, right? Like, unless it's FNAF AR 2. Could y'all imagine if they're bringing back FNAF AR and it's freaking special delivery 2? Axel, I hope she's finally gonna be like the main antagonist. I wish. Can I give you my crackpot theory, Ginny? This is a safe space. I guess if you think of the tallies as purple, it kind of looks like a sideways face. In this one or the middle one? Because in the middle one, I totally see what you're saying. If we're talking about this one, yeah, hold on. I can turn this sideways actually right now. Hello? Where's my rotate button? Oh god, I lost it. Oh no. Edit. Undo. Okay, hang on. I got it. I know what I'm doing. Oh, your interest's in one place. Transform. There we go. There we go. Like this. I can see it, you know? I can see how it's like starting to form something there. It's actually FNAF 2, the sequel to FNAF 2. I love that. Or if we saw it on that side. It does look like a face to me. I completely see it. I just don't know what the point would be of it being a face. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where I'm just like, it super could be. I just don't know the point. I don't know. If you're on mobile, just move your screen around here. If you're on mobile, just move, just do this with your phone. You can see it in every which direction. Glitch Trap and Glamrock Bonnie. Oh, no problem. Still can't figure out what the real ending of Security Breach is? You are telling me. You know how in FNAF 6, Scott tricks us into thinking Pizzeria Simulator was a new game, but it was actually FNAF 6. What we're forgetting, FNAF World 2. What if we think we're getting FNAF World 2, but we're getting Security Breach 2? I mean, it can be both. Because Mega Cat is the one developing FNAF World 2. If you're saying it's just one sequel, I was talking about this earlier, where I was like, but if it's anyway, it doesn't matter. They could be working in tandem. I think it would be really interesting. Yeah. There's hold on here. I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up. Give me a moment. I've got a ton of tabs. Not you. I don't want an Instagram post. Are you crazy? Okay, so this is what we have. Is this big old 2. And it's got the adventure animatronics in it. There we go. And it's the adventure animatronics in it. But we've got we've got Mangle. We've got Puppet. We've got Balloon Boy. We've got an Indo or the rest of Mangle. I think it's the rest of Mangle though. We've got Chica. We got Freddy. Though this looks like Fredbear. Or no, because this isn't purple. But like this is like a golden Freddy. Am I wrong? It kind of is giving golden Freddy a little bit. It's like he's like lighter. We got Foxy and we got Bonnie over there. And I think if you like mess with this, it says FNAF World down here or something. But it's like it's FNAF World 2. You know what I mean? No, it's brown. Okay, maybe it's just my screen. Maybe it's just my screen. It looks so yellow on my screen. Like, he looks so golden on my screen. Shove your brother in Fres- I can't even read that meme. I mean, it's got this, like, red tint over it anyway, so. I know that it's black eyes with white dots. I'm not that stupid. I'm just saying he looks yellowy, okay? Like, look at him right next to Chica. They look so similar in color. Like, I'm not crazy. I'm not just like, I'm not being, I'm not like saying something otherworldly out here. Like, this is normal color conversation. But I'm not opposed to it just being Freddy and it just looks bright here. Yeah, Fredbear has a purple bow tie. That's why I was like, it's weird because this is definitely black bow tie and black hat, but it's obviously not like messed up golden for Freddy because he's got both ears and he looks all normal. The bottom looks sus to me. Brighten up the image. Looks like, wait, this right down here. Yeah, people messed with it and you can see like, oh, jeez, hold on. You can see F in A and I guess an F here. You can mess with this and get some stuff. Let me see if I download it, if it's easy to futz with, but I don't know if it's gonna be. Let me just look up what the tweet was. Mega Cat. If I can find our tweet real quick. Yeah, Mega Cat didn't put anything on their tweet. It just says. Oh my god, they've tweeted a lot since the anniversary. My god. Yeah, they didn't add anything else on August 8th. They just posted this with no caption. But I think like Scott Games also tweeted it or retweeted it or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Did I download the image already? I did. I did. Oh, it's a WebMP. Not a WebMP. Can I edit it at all? Downloads. Open with photos. There we go. Okay. Okay, here it is. All right. Oops. Yeah, see? You can start to see FNAF World down here. As I'm playing around, you can kind of see it better. That's not helping. I think you can see it. I think you can see like FNAF and then WORLD, you know? But I don't think there's anything else in here other than that. I think that's kind of the vibe. You know, like it's there. But that's all. That's like all I can really do in here. I don't feel like downloading Photoshop for this. Oh my god, Meep. Not FNAF Wordle. Anyway, I hope that doesn't make me look crazy. I think I can see it, but I like uh oh, I can get really close to this image. Anyway, I think it's neat. I just think it's neat. Think the logo implies the classics are going to be fighting against the toys. It could very well be. George, no, I don't think there's going to be any lore in Fortnite for Five Nights at Freddy's. I think that would be really messed up if they even did do that, in my opinion. But I don't think there even gonna be, because there's not any lore in Dead by Daylight. I think the only thing people even attempted to extrapolate from that was one of the perks has like a picture of Remnant or something on it. But like they just have to have a visual. I don't think it has to be that. Guess what? It's Friday night and I'm still working again. Glad I can listen in at least. Aw, Joshua, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. Hope work goes by so fast you don't even notice. But yeah, I think there's like a heavy like I said, I think FNAF World is like 65% chance that it's not canon, 45% chance that it is. I don't think it's quite 50-50, but I don't think it's as unlikely as I would initially like to think. Like if someone was asking like, "Hey, Nervous, like do you want it to be?" I'm like, "No, not really." Not if it's being made by Mega Cat. I don't really need it to be canon in that world. I think it could just be a fun game and we could just have fun with it. But I don't think it's as like I think I have there's a high there's not a there's a pretty high chance that I'm wrong, but I still feel more on my side than not. I hope that's fair. Yeah, Daniel, I just don't think like even if it doesn't make it canon, even if it's just like, oh, well, we just put Lauren here for fun reasons, like I still think that's crazy. But FNAF, okay, honestly though, another thing I thought about, FNAF World 2 would be interesting. Okay. We don't know things. There's a lot of people believe, in my opinion, that FNAF World 1 is about setting up Happiest Day, right? And FNAF World 1 is connected to the crying child, you know? I know some people say that Cassidy, aka the Vengeful Spirit, not Cassidy if it's the crying child or if it's Charlotte, but Vengeful Spirit is the recipient of Happiest Day and not William Afton's child. But so there's a point that's a point of contention. But I think for the most part, I would say like most people are comfortable in the idea that that FNAF World 1 has something to do with the crying child. Regardless of whether you think crying child is a vengeful spirit or not, regardless of whether or not the crying child's name is Cassidy or not, I think most people can basically agree that, well, scared, I'm with you, friend. That's my interpretation of FNAF World. But you would like, everything I've ever said, somebody in the comments has told me that the exact opposite is true and I'm foolish for thinking otherwise. And I don't take that personally, but it does make me really careful in my language because I'm like, let me not say something as a fact, lest the people come for me. Yeah, Blue Star. Yeah. So, okay, with that in mind, FNAF World 2 being related to David might be interesting. Hmm? It's not definitive like everything else. Correct. Yeah. I would say that's right. Yeah. Like there are like the definitive things, right, that we can say is that William Afton existed and killed some kids, ended up in Springtrap suit, right? I think that's definitive. It's a definitive thing that he had kids. And it's a definitive thing that Freddy Fazbear's existed in the FNAF universe. You know what I mean? There are some things that are definitive. Not everything is up for interpretation, but the things that we do know for certain, far and few between. Far and few between. For a series that's been going on 12 years, quite impressive. So, I hope FNAF World 2 is about Gregory and Cassie, like FNAF World 1 was between Crying Child and Cassidy. Fair enough. Fair enough. The reason why Elizabeth was kicked out is not because she wanted to help William Afton, it's because she was arrogant. Could be multiple things. People get weirdly unreasonable about the Scary Bear game. I would agree. I would also agree with your parentheses statement. Just a guy, but, you know, I won't go into it today. Hear me out. I think FNAF World 2 is going to reveal F10 and 4 is running it as Spooky Eyes. Moon.exe is basically beta FNAF World. That purple person, do you watch my videos? No offense if you don't. I mean, or it's like, I wouldn't care if you said no. But I'm just wondering. Like, do you happen to watch my videos? I say that because I'm like, Cassidy plush. Okay, yeah. That's a thing. That's a thing. That is definitely a big thing. Completely agree with Angel. Henry and Elizabeth use the same words and phrases to talk about MCI. Interesting. Let's go, Daniel. Let's go. Isn't that what we all hope? We just hope it makes sense. Whether it's true or not, set it aside. I just hope it makes sense. My whole issue with all this new stuff is I still want answers to past things before concepts like the Mimic, David, etc. were even thought of. I want a soft reboot. I get you. I understand you. On occasion, I try not to let other people's content influence mine. Okay, well, I'm going to find the video where I say what you said. Just so, you know. I think it's the one that I made a month ago where it's the thumbnail is the crying child's brain with a bite taken out of it. And it says they're scanning brains, and it says the tale story nobody talks about solves happiest day. But yeah, in that video I basically theorized about the possibility that F10 and 4 is where happiest day happens. And yes, Moon.exe is a precursor to FNAF World. Oh my gosh, that purple person, I bet we were like making videos about the same thing at the same time. That happens to me and Rytos like on occasion too. Where I even had somebody be like, you stole this idea from Rytos. And I was like, I uploaded this video fully edited with visuals, wrote the script, and uploaded it 5 hours after Rytos uploaded their video. Do you honest to goodness think that I watched the entirety of Rytos' video, wrote this script, filmed it, edited it, and got it uploaded in 5 hours? Do you want William Afton to come back? I was fine with that. I was fine with Burn Trap. I know that wasn't even Scott's intention, but I thought that was really cool. Like, I was like, I guess in the minority of people. I didn't know at the time. I wasn't with y'all. When I was into FNAF up until 2 years ago, I didn't talk to another soul about Five Nights at Freddy's. And I lived in a completely different universe to all of you. And I had no idea that it would be such a point of contention that Burn Trap would be there and would be alive. I thought that was sick as all get out. I thought that was cool as HE double hockey sticks, as Matt Pat would say. I was not aware. Oh, suggested the map is William Brain rather than CC. Okay. It happens, that purple person. We're all in like, theorists are, okay, one thing that y'all should know is that a lot of theorists are yapping behind the scenes. They are, okay? I don't yap along with them almost any of the time, but like theorists are yapping behind the scenes. They're talking to each other. We're in the field together, you know? And I genuinely believe that that influences what people are thinking about at different times. Like if the community is all talking about a specific thing, then like, yeah, 5 different people are going to make videos of a similar ilk with and draw similar conclusions. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if 5 different theorists make videos, you're telling me the man that always comes back came back 0 out of 10 unplayable. So true. Like I was like, I thought that was the point. I thought the point was that he always comes back, and here he is, coming back, true to his word, man of his word. I thought that was cool. When people were upset, I was like, huh? Anyway. But, okay, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you have, like, 5 theorists or so who have, like, a fair bit of traction, I don't even know what that means, you know what I mean? Whatever. People who are consistently uploading, people, you know, people who have a consistent audience, right? People who are coming back to them time after time. Whatever that means, right? Like, what if that's 500 people, if that's 2,000 people, if it's 100,000 people, whatever. If we're all drawing similar conclusions, and that purple person, you've agreed, like, you don't watch a whole lot of other theories because you don't want it to influence your thought. I am the same way. I don't watch a whole lot of other theories because I don't want it to influence my thought. That's why I like FNAF Theory Bingo, because it gives me an opportunity to watch other people's videos. And not feeling like, anyway, I'm not like siphoning their ideas, even subconsciously. I feel like if we're all coming to similar conclusions, that's good. That means that we're probably on the right track. If like we're all kind of having the same thought. So the fact that, okay, fine, you think that it's William's brain and I think that it's Crying Child's brain, but we still both came to the conclusion that F10 and 4 is probably influencing FNAF World in some way, or is a hub in some capacity, has something to do, and that Moon.exe is a precursor to that. The fact that we're all kind of coming to that conclusion, because I don't think it's just you and me. I think I've seen other theories where something similar is being said. That makes me think we're on to something, you know? And yeah, anyway. My theory, I'll just go ahead and say it. I'd love if you watch the video, but it's not a big deal one way or the other. Like there's more context in there, I guess what I should say. But my thought process is that F10 and 4 is still trying to get her kid back. And so when Crying Child gets bit, F10 and 4 is like, oh, this is a perfect opportunity to kind of build my kid again from the ground up and tell this guy I can bring his kid back to life. And so she's kind of using William in that way, in my opinion. Me, agreed. I agreed. I personally believe people give F10 and David too much importance in the old lore, but you don't see me being a butt about it. Fair enough. I think we all make theories that's the same as everyone else, which is common, which means you're on the right. Yeah, basically, yeah. Circus Baby isn't referring to the... Oh, okay, you're saying something else. I agree FNAF World 2 is going to end with the screen pulls out and we just see F10 and 4 console. If that freaking happened... I would be so, like, it would be such a, like, mind freak moment, you know what I mean? Where it's like it happens and, oh my god, viral moment, and Mega Cat, if you want a viral moment, let's go. If you want a viral moment, let's go. Yeah, Jenny, exactly. We're gonna overlap. It's just so funny to act like somebody owns a theory. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it works like that. I I will say something, and this is I'm gonna not look at chat for a second so I can get this out. So I'm not ignoring y'all. I mean, like I literally am, but just know that I'm not. Like it's not like I'm reading it and being like whatever you have to say. This is controversial. Okay, it's controversial and also probably impossible to not. It would be impossible to change, definitely at this point. But I think it would have. It was. I think it's inevitable. I think it was always inevitable. But I'm not the biggest fan of it for a reason. I don't like naming theories because I think that seeps into the territory of someone owning a theory. I don't like that because every time like we've been like, "Oh, Matt Pat's this theory and that theory." There have been like 20 redditors who have come out of the woodwork and they've theorized about it years ahead of Matt Pat, or then it comes out that Matt Pat actually like read that theory and like really it was something that sparked from something that he read on Reddit and not something that he necessarily came up with himself. Or it's parallel thinking where like multiple people are like, coming up with similar ideas at similar times, and then they're giving them like almost the same name, but it's like, well, mine's a little bit different and everything. I get to a point with it where it just starts to feel kind of crazy. Like people will come up and be like, "What do you think about blonde blonde receiver theory?" And I'm just like, "I don't care. I don't know, and I don't care." I just made that one up. It's not real. But like, it's like when people are God, it just becomes this like, "Oh, you don't know." I can't even think of one. I literally can't even think of one. Like this is for instance, okay? Let me just use one. So, when I talked about the idea that the Pizzaplex was run on Remnant, that theory didn't have a name. Ritos reached out to me and was like, "I'd really like to talk about your theory. It should have a name." And so then we had to sit there and come up with a name for my theory. So I don't remember if I suggested it or Ritos suggested it, but like we came up with that together, the name. And I was like, "Yeah, let's go with it. Remnantplex. Sounds good to me." And yes, I think it does effectively describe it. But as that theory evolved, it really became less about Plex and more became about Remnant as a power source, right? And so now it feels kind of like a misnomer because it feels like my theory. I'm like, well, like this theory is no longer really about the fact that the Pizzaplex is run on Remnant. It's more about just the concept that Remnant can be used as a power source, and that may have been a thing across multiple like locations and has even seemed to maybe have started all the way back at Murray's Costume Manor and may have been why William wanted to take over Murray's Costume Manor because he wanted access to that research. Um yeah, scared. But it doesn't necessarily okay, I yes, categorizing wise, I agree with it like in that sense, but the giving credit thing, I don't know, dude. Like there's a part of it for me that's like the moment that I start worrying about whether or not I have credit for Remnantplex is the moment that every time I see somebody else making a theory like similar to it, I feel like sad. I'm like, "Oh, they didn't give me credit. They didn't credit me." Do they know you, girl? And then the ones that do know me, I'm like, "Oh, you do know me and you do talk to me and you didn't like, you know what I mean, credit me." Do I feel bad? Am I supposed to message that person and be like, "Hey, you talked about Remnantplex and you didn't put me in the video?" That's stupid to me. Like, I don't know. Like, that feels so like, that feels so high school. It feels so high school. But at the same time, I'm like, "Oh my god, are people just gonna run and say so and so invented this theory or came up with this theory? Am I getting pushed to the wayside? Is that why my video doesn't have that many views? Is because somebody else thinks that it's somebody else's theory?" You know what I mean? And then, but who cares? Oh my god, who cares? It's freaking Five Nights at Freddy's. So like that's why I just am like I don't even like making theories anymore. Like I will talk in the most, maybe, possibly, could it be? Who knows? Not me. I don't know. I'm just going to throw this out there because I get so tired of thinking about it with Remnantplex. I'm way too, I care way too much. I'm like too focused on whether or not people are crediting me. I don't even know what I would do if I did reach out to somebody and was like, "You talked about this thing that is kind of my idea and you didn't put me in it." Okay, diva, get a life. You don't have anything else to do besides DM me and tell me you need me to tag you in the description of my video. You know what I mean? Thank you, Angel Theory. I appreciate it. But I don't think it just came from me. I could find a Reddit post right now. I bet you I could find a Reddit post right now from years ago where somebody thinks this. I am so sure of it. People are talking about Five Nights at Freddy's all the time. It's just like what they say, there's no original ideas re-movies. There's like, what is it? There's like 32 stories or something. Maybe less. It might be like 13 or something stories. And we're just retelling them all. Like a Mad Lib. FNAF Theory is one big game of telephone where information gets forever lost and credit will get lost in the weeds of everything. I wish there was less of theory naming and more have you seen this. Yeah. Dude, just a guy, you just really said it. You just really said it. For the folks who are just listening, just a guy just said, I think so many aspects of internet discussion have degraded since COVID. IMO. Yup. Yup. I noticed a significant shift in online discourse after COVID. I don't know what being inside did to people, but it changed people. I don't think it changed me that much. I don't know what that says about me and the life that I lived prior to COVID. Now COVID changed me, like that culturally changed me, but as far as the way I talk to people online, it didn't change me, but whoa, it sure changed a lot of people. Meep, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the heck that's about. I don't know what the heck that's about. Calling it now. 5 Laps, FNAF World 2, and Princess Quest all share the same universe. You know what? What is up with 5 Laps at Freddy's? I'm changing the subject. Do we think that 5 Laps at Freddy's is happening? Or do we think it's dying? Do we think that's done? Do we think that we're done with that? Is Click Team just think it's canned? Probably we'll get it at some point. Think it's done. Dead and buried. Not gonna happen. Oh, it's not dead. It's gonna happen. Who knows? They're not communicating. True. I want it. And you ain't alone, scared, and you ain't alone. A lot of us want it, man. Yo, okay, can I say something? People talk in my last video, they were like, I love when your accent comes out. What is my accent? What accent's coming out? When they're talking about my accent comes out, what accent? Like, I think I talk in like 5 different ones on a rotating thing. Like, do I have an accent? You meant it's not gonna happen. It's just been forever. Yeah. A nervous accent. That's right. That's right. East Pennsylvania. So here's something. I get Pennsylvania a lot. Midwestern is the most prominent to me. I just tell people, well, everyone has an accent. You're right. Sorry. I mean just specifically in that moment. That's funny, just a guy. So fair. Cause here's me. I purposefully use different voices. Like, I'm using a lot of different voices when I'm talking all the time. And so it's funny when someone was like, oh, I can tell when your accent comes out. And I'm like, when? When are you noticing that? Like, I feel like I talk like 5 different ways all the time. Hillary, when she was the first lady of Arkansas. Do you mean Hillary Clinton? What do you mean? I don't want to sound like Hillary Clinton. Oh my god, my light just fell. That's funny though. I just think it's funny. I just thought it was funny when they said that because I was like, I very oh, Hillary. Wait, what? I gotta look it up now. She was the first lady of Arkansas. Things I didn't know about Hillary Clinton. Oh no, not chilling in Cedar Rapids. No. No. If I were Hillary Clinton, she'd be a much different person. And she would have divorced her husband when she got cheated on. How do we get them to Pokemon go to the polls? Oh, Scooter, awesome. Okay, yeah, anyway. I feel for Hillary Clinton in one way and one way only. And that is, she fell down the path of politically involved women who shack up with stupid men. And I think it completely tanked what could have been. I don't know. I think Hillary used Bill to... It doesn't matter. We're talking about politics now. What the hell am I talking about? Long story short, I think she should have left them. I think that would have been the power move. I think that would have been the feminist move. Anyway, I'm done. They deserve each other. You know what? You know what? Clock it. Let that go. We're gonna move back to Five Nights at Freddy's now. Okay. Shall we do some polls? Speaking of polls, shall we do some FNAF polls to wrap up our conversation? So we've been yapping. Do you think FNAF World 2 will be canon? Is it canon or canon? Okay, can't spell. Thought so. To games timeline. Yes or no? %20 content, 80% eye strain. Hilarious. Comedian. We got a comedian in the house. Tattoo. This is a Q with a heart underneath it. It is faded and weird looking now. This is my very first tattoo. And it's the only one they didn't cover up after I got it. So it was just free hanging in the breeze. And I did apply the correct stuff and I did my best to take care of it. But it got ugly fast. It's not my favorite piece of work. But it's my first tattoo because I decided to get a small tattoo to make sure I could handle tattoos before I got my other ones. And my other ones are in places that are harder for me to show you right now. Not like that. They're just on my legs. Dang! The fact that it's so many of y'all saying yes and I'm a no. That's crazy. That's crazy. Even with it being made by Mega Cat Studios, huh? That's fascinating. I you know, like I said, I think there's a high likelihood that it is. I just think there's a higher likelihood that it isn't. Personally. More about you want it to be. Okay. You think that FNAF World 2 is going to have a VR port? You really think that's going to happen? It's being made by Megacat. It's a sequel, so yeah. I think there's a chance that it could decanonize FNAF World. I think there's a world where FNAF 2 pulls FNAF 1 out of the canon. Yeah, Zeta. Yeah, no, I think that's all fair. Meep, that's hilarious. I understand it. Anyone saying yes, I absolutely get it. I super get it. I don't think it's unlikely at all. But we got a little less than a minute left if you want to vote. And then, what's our next question going to be? What's our next question going to be? Security breach. Do you think it's a prequel or a sequel? That'll be our next question, so get ready for that. Wow. People are overwhelmingly voting yes. This is super interesting. You know, when people say they want it to be canon, I'm inclined to agree that I want it to. I don't actually know where I fall there, but I would be inclined to agree that I want it to be canon just because, like everyone said, like it's just such a fun. I would just love it. I would love for another canon FNAF World game. I think that would be great. Torn and you have arguments for both prequel and sequel. So fair, so fair. But it's what do you think is most likely? What do you think is most likely? Look at that. Look at that split, y'all. That's a crazy split. That is so many more people saying yes than I thought. I thought yes would win, but couldn't have guessed by that margin. Is Security Breach 2 a prequel or a sequel? Prequel? I'm super curious about this one. I won't say who I think's going to win until the end because I don't want to influence the voting. I'm not Elon Musk. I would love for it to be a fake out or to maybe include both, right? I think there's a world where it could be set after Ruin, but give us context for pre-Ruin or for pre-Security Breach. I don't exactly know what that story looks like in my head other than tapes, you know? If we find Vanessa audio logs in Security Breach 2, that would do me right up. I would be stoked. I would be psyched if I find a little CD on the floor and I go, "What's this?" Pop it into something. Vanessa talking about stuff that happened to her. Still will. You listening? I got good ideas. I've got great Vanny ideas. I do not have good anything else ideas. I've got great Vanny ideas. They should just bring me on the team to write for Vanny. Whatever Scott has to say, get him out of here. We don't need him anymore. Sit this one out, Scotty boy. I got it from here. Collect childhood photos of Vanessa that reveals our first official look at William Afton. Ooh, scared. Good question. Good question. Thank you. We will ask that one next. This margin is also crazy. It is going the way I thought that it was going to go. I thought more people would vote for sequel than prequel. So this one, I was on the right side of history or whatever. This will be really fun. This is going to be so fun because eventually we're going to have more information and we're going to find out, like, did we have it? Were we off base? You know, I love this. Y'all are so cool. That is one thing, is that no matter what happens, every time I just sit here and yap with y'all about Five Nights at Freddy's, I love hearing what y'all have to say. Y'all are so freaking cool. Do you know that? I'm getting emotional. This is stupid. I am a sentimental person. Mimicking the tapes, and Vanessa's collecting them. Interesting. I would also love to play as Vanessa. I will say that. I would love for Vanessa to be player character in Security Breach 2. Whoever said that first earlier, you should ask who Vanny in this game will be. Who's some ideas? Who are some candidates for who is Vanny? Looks like Sequel's winning this one. My accent came out. And what was it? What was it? What was it? If that's the accent, what was it? Okay. Which game will release, oopsies, will release first? FNAF World 2, Security Breach 2. I have a theory about my accent thing that when people are talking about, that's why I'm asking. 60s mob wife accent. Let's go. Here for that. Oh, you were kidding. Okay. Okay, cuz here's my theory. I literally think when people are like, OMG, your accent's coming out, I think that what they're picking up on is when I start talking like Jenna Marbles. Because I have watched untold amounts of Jenna Marbles in my life. To the point where when she quit the internet, I haven't been able to watch a Jenna Marbles video since. As soon as she stopped, you could call it maybe idolizing. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe that's a problem. But like when Jenna Marbles left the internet, I haven't been able to watch a video of her since. I've tried multiple times and I just can't do it. It makes me too sad because I love her so much. So when people say my accent is coming out, I'm like, you're talking about Jenna. Jenna's coming out. Jenna lives in me. But anyway. What? For some reason, you saying that reminded me of the song Tempted by the Fruit of Another. I won't keep doing it. But, shoo! Once again, a big spread. Can y'all believe how, like, you all are very, like, of one mind in the chat. This is shocking. I ate Jenna. I got the marbles virus in me. I'm a 32-year-old lady. What does she say? I got a basketball game tomorrow. What else does she say? Marbles. Marbles. Digital Jenna Marbles transfer. So true. Nervous ate them. And it's Jenna. It's just her in that, like, football outfit that she used to start her videos with. But brilliant and cohesive fan base? Way to go, guys. Way to be brilliant and cohesive. We should get brilliant and cohesive merch. I'm a part of the nervous system. Brilliant and cohesive. Maybe you've heard of it. You probably haven't because it's a very small community. It's almost like we're part of a system. You guys. Oh, y'all are funny. Y'all are genuinely funny. Remember that one epilogue with Lucia and the Mimic? No! Very creative. I do love you guys. Y'all are cool. Like, not in a parasocial way. Like, I don't love you in that way. But, you know. What are we? Some kind of nervous system? All right, 35 votes once again. That's about our cap. FNAF World 2 is the one people I think we are going to get first. I am inclined to agree. I do believe FNAF World 2 will come out. Now, I would love it if FNAF World 2 set up Security Breach 2. If FNAF World 2 is canon, I think it would be really sick if it set up Security Breach 2. That's how I feel. Big spread on all three of these. Big spread. Okay, so here are some options for who Vanny can be. Or who do you think new Vanny is? Still Vanessa? Digital entity? Cassie? Adult? Anything else? It's either still Vanessa, a digital entity, Cassie as an adult. I can add one more option. Tape Girl? Could be Tape Girl. Is that a good one? I have that song stuck in my head now. What the what? I hope you know. George Costanza. Okay, we'll do Tape Girl. Could be new character, you're right. But I could only put 4 options, so. Bye, just a guy. Yassine, that's an interesting thought. Vanny is Arnold's van. That's funny. I think it's a digital entity, but I like the idea of Tape Girl. The split on this one is making a lot more sense to me. I think it's almost certainly either still Vanessa or just the digital entity left over after Vanessa and it are separated. That purple person, I think Cassie's mom has gone the way of almost every other mom in the series, and that is that she is either dead or divorced and moved. Yeah, meep. Now, for what it's worth, I'm saying digital entity here, and mimic I think would be a different thing than digital entity because it would still be like a physical thing. But I think you could probably marry the two and say like, well, it's the M1 or M2 program, you know. It would be funny, that purple person. If this was Cassie's mom, that would be hilarious. I'm not again. I am understanding the comedic potential that lives inside of this opportunity that they have. They probably will not seize it. Well, Seeker, obviously at like some point, Vanny was inside Vanessa's brain, but I do agree with you. I don't think. I mean, once it, what's really funny is I could just point straight back to the crying child brain video where I'm talking about them scanning brains, and that because the Mani Within, in my opinion, makes it. I think the Mani Within Tale's story confirms without a shadow of a doubt that Vanny lives in one side of Vanessa's brain and Vanessa lives in the other side of her brain. And so it's like Vanessa has been vacated from one side of her brain. And that is why Vanny is able to end up taking control, and then Vanessa is able to take back control. So yeah, I have always believed that have always been two entities in one brain that are fighting for control of the body. And ultimately, I believe that Vanessa wins the fight for her body. But there is a chance that Vanny wins the fight for the body and Vanessa's consciousness is forever locked inside of the Princess Quest game. Right? Not completely impossible. You think I'm Vanny? That's crazy. Scared. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because That would set up what happens in Ruin really well, where you think Gregory's like trying to help Cassie at the end, but then she doesn't, or then he doesn't. If if Vanessa was still like, was actually evil by that time because her consciousness had been fully repressed in favor of Vanny and in favor of the Vanny consciousness, then that would be what a turn that would be. What a turn that would be. All right. Right now, it's actually genuinely tied at Vanessa and Digital Entity, and then Cassie and Tape Girl have just. So I'm thinking let's run a secondary poll with just our 2 winners here. Okay. VA is Vanessa A, since we know her last name starts with an A, okay? But I didn't have the whole thing. So, of these 2, which is more likely? Vanessa is still connected to Vanny, or Vanny is an entity separate from Vanessa? I think it might be neat if Vanessa trapped the Vanny program in Princess Quest, but the Mimic absorbed it and created a new costumes character. I like that. I've heard a number of people saying something along those lines, and I would not be mad at that. The therapist does notice Gregory speaking with somebody else. She believes it's self-dialogue at first, so his Monty could be GGY. But she says he's like specifically talking to somebody with rabbit ears. Am I crazy? Ugh, I cannot get that ding dang song out of my head now. Tempted by the fruit of another. I have to stop. I can't keep singing it. You know, here's something interesting. Maybe you all could shed some light on this for me. This is something I've never understood about YouTubers. They'll be starting to sing a song, and then like I was just doing, and they'll be like, "Oh, gotta stop before I get copyright stroke." How would that even work? Like, one, do you think you sound so much like the original recording of that song that they would think that it's you? Covers are protected under copyright. Like, you're not even using the instrumental backing track from like anywhere that would be copyrighted. Like, why do people think they're going to get copyright struck humming or lightly singing the song? AI picks up on the melody, doesn't even matter because of covers. But there are like tons of covers online. Copyright very loose, especially on YouTube. But we use like clips from other people's videos all the time. I played a whole trailer for Smart House and didn't get in trouble. You know what? And just to further my point, I've sat here and I've sang the Ding Dang song, and people in the chat will be like, "Nervous, stop! You're gonna get copyright stricken." And then I don't at all. I just feel like you could just be like, have a human look at this, please. I don't know. I'm just shocked. I don't know. I'm just confused. Plot twist, Markiplier's a new Vanny. Okay, so this is more of a split. So now it feels like more people think that it's a digital entity or the Mimic than think that it's still connected to Vanny. That purple person, I'm not talking about playing the actual song. I'm talking about singing it. Not the same thing. Super not the same thing. Deeply not the same thing. I'm talking about what I was just doing. Barely a Bear, Vanny would be a completely new thing. Not Glitch Trap. Love the imitation of what you think Chad sounds like. To be fair, y'all sound different depending on what you're saying. Just saying. A lot of the time, I think you sound like very sensible people. I'm not against the idea that the mimic is, that the new Vanny is the mimic's interpretation of Vanny in a costume that it made. I would not be opposed to that. All right. Looks like Vanny being separate from Vanessa is more popular than it being Vanessa. Hi, Rebecca. Do we know what was the... Sorry. Do we know what the 2 Vanessa ending thing was? We don't know. That purple person. That is so funny that you said that. That is something that I literally have thought. Not literally that, but like, I'm just like, if it's somebody else, like, we gotta talk about this. William is Dracula, Mike is Igor, Vanessa is Dr. Jekyll / Mr. Hyde, Elizabeth and Cece are the Frankensteins. Do I think Security Breach 2 will have a bit of Gregory so we can clarify if he's actually a bad person, hacker, etc., just like the book says he is in TGY and other medias? I'd really like to think we'll get closure on Gregory. I'd really like to think we'd get closure on Gregory. But I'm not certain. I'd have to see a little bit more to really make an assessment there. Well, I was just reading Diablo's comment. I think we get it. I think we understand. Do I think William Afton will ever return to FNAF, not just as a digital entity, but like actually return, whether by springlock suit or human form? No. I would have liked that. And I think that's what Steel Wolf thought was going to happen. But I think the fandom has shot that down. So I don't think so. I would at this point say probably not. But what was the question? Somebody asked earlier a question and I already forgot it. Do we know what was happening with the 2 Vanny and 2 Vanessa ending? That one is a conundrum, isn't it? Best case scenario, in my opinion, it's Vanessa's spirit looking down at her body, realizing that her spirit is trapped in the Pizzaplex forever. Worst case scenario, clones. And that's unfortunate, and that would mean the real Vanessa dies. Because there's no way she'd make it out. Well, I don't know, she might. But I don't think it's canon anyway, so it's fine. I think that's where I'm going to leave this discussion. This has been really, really fun. You've all given me a lot to think about. I like the fact that you guys are pulling me towards canon FNAF World 2. I'm not against it. And appreciate that we're all kind of in agreement that it was probably a sequel. Security Breach 2 was probably a sequel. Love the little talks regarding the influence of F10 and 4 on FNAF World 2. I do like that. I would appreciate that. And I love the discussion what is Vanny? Chibata is now covering up my green light, so not looking as cute anymore, but her tail really does some number. Look at that. Ain't that crazy what she's capable of? Ain't that nuts? All right, I gotta go. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.